thought I'd come on for a bit of a quick video. I know I haven't done one in the past couple of days, but I thought I would. So, I find it interesting because sometimes I get in conversations with just general everyday people, and when you start talking about what you do for your work, obviously I mentioned that I about what I do, and I find it's because I blend both like life coaching types of things because I talk about relationships and I guess what kinds of things are compatible with you and the types of things that you want in a relationship or that you need depending on what kind of relationship you want. Also, the things that might be holding you back, wounds and traumas from the past. Obviously, I'm not a therapist and I don't claim to be. I'm not going about it in a mainstream kind of way, I guess would be the way to put it. And I'm definitely not going about it from the medical side. But this is the cool part, I think, is there's all different types of facets. Now, do I think one is better than all the others? Not necessarily. I do like astrology and numerology and human design because it's more specific to you. It isn't just a series of questions. You know what I mean? Like that's I think what I like about this so much is it's more specific to you. A person who can read your chart knows and has a direct blueprint, a guide into what you will more than likely lean towards. Again, it gets more complicated than that. If you're insecure in certain areas, then that's going to change how it shows up. If you're more secure, that's going to change how it shows up. So it's not a perfect system. And, if you're going through different things at the time, this can also affect it. But I think it gets you there quicker. It's far more efficient, in my experience. So it's that as well as what types of things light you up. What types of things are you attracted to and who and what is attracted to you? These are really important things to explore. The same thing when it comes to, I love the personal power reading because it helps you understand how to tap into your power. And I think that's an important thing to know how to do and to know when to do it and why to do it. There's a lot of people who have strange ideas when it comes to power. People think that if you're dominant or you're aggressive or controlling, that you're in power. This is again an insecure, low vibration version of power. True power is just what it is. You know what your worth is. You know what you have to offer. There's nothing to prove. And the people who have true power know that. Not stolen from others. So that's just a few of those, possibilities in terms of readings. And so when I explain this to people when they ask, I've even had people laugh, like you actually get paid for that. Well, again, I could get offended. I don't. It's when it comes down to these kinds of things, it's about knowing your purpose. I know mine. So what do I have to prove? What do I have to convince somebody else of? I don't. Talk with me for a few minutes and you'll see that there's a lot of things I understand that a lot of people don't. There's a lot of wisdom that I have to give. And I think everybody has their purpose. That's why I do what I do, to help you realize what yours is and how to overcome the things that hold you back from it, which of course is why I call it life purpose coaching rather than life coaching. I just say life coaching sometimes because it's easier. People can kind of understand that because what I do is a little bit different. I'm not an astrologer. Yes, I use astrology, and I'm not a full life coach either. I'm somewhere in between because I see the benefits of different forms. So I do things my way. And this is what's so cool when you figure out who you are, what your purpose is. You do things your way. And that's how you bring your own little special something. That's what makes it so great. The most interesting people in the world and throughout history have always been people who do things their unique way. When you're younger, you get made fun of for that, like, oh, you're such a weirdo. Why are you doing that? And look, at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't going to understand. And that's why some people laugh when I say what I do. I don't care. I'm only bringing it up to prove a point. Otherwise, I really don't care. At the end of the day, I may not be for everyone. I'd like to help everybody if I could, but not everyone's ready for that. And that's okay. It doesn't worry me, it doesn't upset me, and I'm not offended. I'd rather work with people who want to work with me, anyways. Because if you're not open minded, then it doesn't matter what I say, it's not going to come through. Maybe I say that because I have a Libra stellium, and Libra is really known for this. It's like when you're dealing with conflict, for instance. Again, low vibration Libra will avoid it, which of course creates more. But high vibration understands that conflict is simply an opportunity for connection. It is simply differences in points of view. It doesn't mean anyone's right or wrong. It doesn't mean that it's evil or good. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a type of connection that could be made. And again, it's the awareness of compatibility also. If you're dealing with someone and you recognize midway through the conversation or whenever, you've already repeated yourself once, twice, 5 times. You're leading yourself into the potential of an argument. Because at some stage, you're going to get frustrated that what you're saying isn't landing. You get to the point then where you think, well, this is where I think Libra has some tremendous insight. Is there any point to continue that conversation? Probably not. There's no point in talking to someone who can't understand you. And so it's that understanding of we're just not compatible. In this area, we're not compatible, and that's okay. Again, you can make the decision, is this a deal breaker? This is the same in relationships, and I don't just mean this with Libra, but you have to kind of think about, I suppose Mercury would be a big one, Mars, even the moon is going to show you, again, how you feel, how you do things, and how you deal with conflict, how you deal with issues. So again, that starts to show, and these are important in terms of relationships, not just romantically, but any kind of relationship, because it's that exchange. You're communicating, whether you're talking or you're vibing or your body language or whatever the situation, verbal, nonverbal, physical, non-physical communication. Human beings do this innately. And so if you're dealing with people and that's just not coming across, it's not working, there isn't really a relationship, there isn't really communication that can take place. So there's no point to continue beating at it, so to speak. So it's this awareness of, okay, so is there common ground between us? Can we work through it? Yes, okay, let's do that. If not, you either you stick to safe topics, or you don't really talk to that person. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, who wants to keep having the same argument over and over again? And this is what makes astrology so interesting, and numerology, human design. This is why I think it's so helpful. When you think about how people are in relationships, they often will have the same issues over and over and over again. Why is that? Because this person has it set in their chart, and this person has it set in their chart. In the beginning, that can be a source of spiciness or excitement because it's the opportunity to expand, to grow, to change, to take on different ideas. But if you're not fully able to do that, or you're not able to do it in a way that's compatible with the other person, it becomes a source of tension, doesn't it? That's why I think astrology is so great, because it helps you see, like, exactly, you can see it in the chart, whether communication, love languages, again, some people say that, no, that's not a thing, but the way that you love, right? The way you deal with conflict, the way you argue, the way you sort out your affairs in terms of your daily routines, your work, whatever. You can see it all in the chart. And when you put two together in terms of compatibility in a relationship, it starts to become obvious. And that's why I think a lot of times people will just kind of go around and around in circles with these kinds of things, because it's just two people who have their blueprint already set. Now, I'm not saying that you can't become a better version of yourself. Of course you can. But everything takes work. Anything worth doing takes work to get there. And this is no exception. So that's another reason why I think it's helpful. You can then see, based on the place, let's just say a certain sign is in that house, and that's where you have conflict with your partner or whatever. You can then see, well, do I go with the high vibration or low vibration version of this sign? And that's what makes it so interesting. And that's why I like to go into compatibility and relationships, and then obviously talking through numerology, human design, and astrology.